Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Jeremy, or just Jeremy on Discord.
And this is Aaron. I go by Treffenwood on Discord.
And we're back with another riveting episode of Infamous. As always, links in the show notes. Have fun at NashCon? Is that an announcement?
Did you end that with a question mark,
What?
you son of a
Why,
bitch?
thank you.
Yeah.
What makes you think we wouldn't have fun at NashCon? NashCon is going to be a blast.
You know what they have? Nashville hot
Nash.
chicken.
Okay.
They're supposed to. That's a Nashville thing.
You are
Cool.
not wrong. They do have...
They also have coleslaw.
Hot chicken tenders. Special,
Okay.
right? Question
I
mark?
don't know. Is it?
Yes, it is.
It's okay.
Anyway.
I've already planned where I'm having dinner each night while we're there.
Good.
So.
Have you seen the video on the internet, Jeremy, where the guy's like watching a cooking video and he's like, "This is cheese sauce. Guess what it's made of?" And the guy's like, "Sauce." He's like, "You're right. It's cheese." He's like, "No." It's funny. I've watched that video like 12 times. All right. So getting into it today, we've got a little bit of news. Hey,
First down, news!
Yes.
News!
All right. So the news this week is they spoiled the affiliation of Servants of the Apocalypse, kind of, or specifically who can be the Horsemen, but they've got the leadership logo on it, so I assume this is just also the affiliation. It's just a specialized affiliation. So, overarching views, did you guys have any initial responses without getting too far into it?
I haven't even looked at it, so... Nope.
Cool.
If you decide to put all your rules on several cards in different locations and make me search, I'm out.
I can't be reading all kinds of cards and looking up all these picture diagrams.
Last time I looked at two different cards at the same time was Emma and fucking that bullshit.
He stopped. He just quit. Yeah,
I quit.
This
I'm
isn't
like,
for me.
nope, that's not for me.
All right. Well, just giving you a quick overview, there are 16 characters beyond Apocalypse in the Apocalypse affiliation.
God damn it.
They are exclusively mutants, and many of them are older models. Okay. Well, I mean, old for mutants, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting into it, every character on the list can be two of the four horsemen. So, everyone has exactly two options to be a horseman. So, starting off, I'll give you the people who can be Death. We've got Archangel, Cassandra Nova, Gambit, Honey Badger, Iceman, Psylocke, Toad, and Wolverine. Do you guys remember the issue where Toad was Death?
Yeah, it was way back in the who gives a fuck hashtag.
It definitely never happened. I have never read a comic in my life. I would bet almost any amount of money that never happened.
Toad is quite a classic for the death. No, never, not.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I'm going to give AMG a pass on this one.
Of course you will.
Wow,
Fucking company man over here.
Company man.
Slinging the shit.
He's a company man.
What I think, I actually haven't, I need to look and see, I think each, I don't know what you call them, horseman can be taken by 8 characters, is that right?
Everyone can be 2, there's 16, that checks out.
Right, but they could have had, they could all be Death, right? But Death can't...
No, everyone has exactly 2, and there seems to be an even dispersion.
Right, so that's the thing, is they wanted to do an even dispersion, where each person could be 2, and each horseman could be taken by 8 different people. And they wanted to try to spruce up some of the characters that were probably a little unloved, although what I want to say the overarching reason for why they chose what they did was mutants. Like, they didn't put Hulk in, even though he has been war in the past. So within that construct of we want 8 by 2, and they all have to be mutants, like, okay, I have absolutely no issue with how they went about it, even if it's not the most comic accurate.
Sure, I didn't expect a perfectly comic accurate. I just think it seems a little... My biggest problem is that they have the 2-pointers in here is really... not that you can't have 2-pointers, but it feels like they bent over backwards to make the leadership work at every possible integer very easily, as opposed to maybe making it hard on the person playing a fucking crazy complicated faction.
And humans don't even have a 2-pointer.
Yeah, there's a ton of affiliations that don't have a 2-pointer. This guy's got 2. and neither of them make sense.
Okay.
That's really my issue. And I get that, like, yeah, some people are going to want to have the Four Horsemen and Apocalypse, but then maybe not make it to where they can do that at, 15 points? Because you've got a 6-pointer.
I think they were really wanting to allow you to run the Four Horsemen at as low point total as possible.
Mm-hmm.
For better or
I think
worse.
16 is the lowest, right? Yeah, 16 is the lowest you can do all 5.
Yep.
So let's see. Toad and Honey Badger can be death. And then Honey Badger can also be war, and Toad can also be pestilence. And then somebody pointed out that Blob can be famine, which is kind of funny.
Clearly when I want to stop and take a look at Apocalypse, it'll be with respect to what abilities do death and war and famine, etc. give to the individual models, and how can I make a squad of 5 at the point totals with the abilities that I want people to have. And I think that's where you really get into the, 4th level chess of trying to figure it all out. Again, I have not looked at it. Other than
I think
cursory when it first came out. So
the obvious auto includes is going to be the 2 2-pointers and Apocalypse, obviously, and that way it gives you the most ability to make as many point totals as possible.
So I think that's what people are going to assume, and I'm going to say right off the bat that might be wrong.
Sure, it might be.
Like forcing all 4 cards when it might just be better to play 4 wide instead of 5 wide. Like, let's play good models, not 5 models. Honey Badger is almost never an auto include in any 5-man roster that I put together. She might be the right model, but she also might be completely wrong for not only the model but the list.
Sure, could be.
Yep. I'm just saying, like, Toad I think is an auto include. I question whether Honey Badger is.
Can I just say that I feel like this list is going to, whatever it is that is the best version of it, is just going to happen, and then it will be just that, right? Like,
I feel like it's going to be like the Guardians list, where it was like, it's this plus Thanos, and that's the list.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's what's going to happen with this.
I feel the same way. I think it will probably take a little bit for people to get there. And like Aaron's pointing out, like figuring out if it's worth going 5 wide or not. Like, is there a horseman that you just don't need because it's not as good as the other 4 or other 3 models?
I'm going to soft disagree, and maybe that's part optimism on my part, Jeremy. But I understand your sentiment. But when you take a look at various affiliations, I think the game gets solved with combo packages and shells. But within that construct, I still think there's variation. Like, this Red Skull 3 list might have 8 characters that are the same as that Red Skull 3 list, but the other 2 are different for varying reasons. And so I think APOC is going to be the exact same way. I'm not sure you're ever going to get to these are the 10 people you take, period.
So you think that a roster that has 2 different characters in it is a noticeably different roster and not, like, super samey?
It can
shares... Of, like, let's say the 26 available parts to a list, it shares, like, 20. You don't think that's, like, a very similar list?
They are very similar. Okay. But again, they're not... So, I don't know. Maybe I'm agreeing. Yes, they are going to be very samey. I think you'll find, like, the same 6 people in an APAC roster. But you find the same 6 in an X-Force roster, right? That's kind of what defines the affiliation, right? Like, you're going to take Cable, Deadpool, Domino, right? So,
I mean, in agreeing with you a little bit, I think it's important to note, like, just because it's in your roster doesn't mean it's a core piece. And so if our 2 Red Skull 3 rosters share 8 models, well, it really depends which 2 models aren't being shared, because if it's like my core versus your core, then it's incredibly impactful to the roster. But if it's just like we took a different 2-pointer, because I took Bullseye and you took Bob, like, it doesn't really matter in the long run.
That I agree, but like I have...
Yeah. But if you're like, I took Namor, you took Cable, that's a different roster.
Right, I've got She-Hulk, because I think She-Hulk in Red Skull 3 is pretty amazing.
Exactly.
In theory.
And so it can really matter, but if it's your 10th model, it's basically irrelevant.
Right, 10th model that comes out only if you're playing on a certain scenario versus a certain faction. Yes, so I agree there.
So let's just look at it this way. Let's look at the 3-point models in this affiliation. We've got Beast, Deadpool, Gambit, Iceman, Magic, Blob. Did any of those stand out as great models? I'd say the tops are probably Beast, Magic, and then
Deadpool.
Blob and Deadpool are like situational. I'm not as high on Deadpool as everybody else, so I guess that's...
I like Deadpool
probably
and Blob
switch
a
those.
lot, both of them actually.
I love Blob. I think he brings a lot to the table. I think Deadpool is reasonably good.
The key here is like Blob is like famine and pestilence. What do they give him? I don't remember. I don't know.
Exactly.
But that's, I think, super key.
So let's see. I haven't checked this before. I'm wondering if there's an even spread on the 3-pointers, on which ones they can be, or if they're going to kind of force you into one.
A world that uses more Blob in it, I don't like it.
You don't like a
No.
world with more Blob?
No. I like him being the secret sauce in only a few lists. Like, just don't start splashing him, for Christ's sake.
The only thing... So there's... The specific thing for me on Blob is, if I recall correctly, the Horseman card allows them to spend the evolution tokens as power to make attacks. And so if you can make Blob Thunderous Splash on a regular basis without being attacked, that could be very strong. Magic kind of similar for that regard. If you can do Dark Child every turn, then she becomes very dangerous.
Do they spend Evo tokens, or does APOC spend them? Or is both?
They get spent off the card.
Off the card from
I don't believe anyone owns the tokens.
Sure. Okay.
But each of their cards, the Horseman cards, gives them a way to
correct.
add
They
Evo
generate
tokens.
the Evo tokens.
Correct.
It looked like you might get between 3 and 5 Evo tokens a turn, depending on how things work out. So it's
That
not
sounds-
going to fuel, like... You're right. You could Thunder Splash with
Not
Blob
multiples,
every
yeah.
turn, but that's all you're doing.
Yeah.
And I want to say APOC is going to need those to funnel his superpowers as the primary mechanism. Like, he's going to be using, I think it's either Famine's ability, the one that lets him place. Like, he's doing that every turn. So he either has 2 power for it, or he's spending 2 tokens for it.
Mm-hmm.
And listeners, take this with a huge grain of salt, because I actually don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Did they clarify if you're only able to take affiliated models, or could you just like throw like Hawkeye in here?
I'm sure you can.
Okay. They just couldn't beat the Horseman.
Right. Let me double check. APOC
It's interesting. I normally hate,
Yeah.
putting a lot of mental reps into shit that's not out, so I haven't really put a lot of thought
Do you
into
have
this.
to take 3 horsemen with him?
You have to take at least...
I don't...
I mean, you have to be
horsemen, like-
affiliated.
So you don't have
But-
to take all of them? Or what?
No.
I think technically you could do Thanos, APOC, Taskmaster, I think would technically be legal.
You are correct.
And you just have 0 horsemen.
Yes.
I'm doing
So-
that.
So the question is, like...
and
do
not
you
choosing
drop-
to be Black Order.
Like, do you drop Thanos in this list and does it become insane? Like, how does that work? Like,
I
So,
don't
no,
know.
off the hand, because like I said, I forget which one it is.
I don't think they do enough work or contesting to stop your opponent
Okay.
from winning.
okay.
So, APOC gets all of the he gets the abilities from Death, Famine, Pestilence, and War if they're assigned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, if you have no one who's assigned, then he loses 4 superpowers that he would
Yeah.
otherwise, I think, be built around.
Okay.
So if you just take Magic, he gets Magic's place, right?
No.
Okay, I thought he got one of their superpowers.
He gets the Death, Famine, Pestilence, or War superpower. That's what he gets.
Oh, I thought he got the superpowers on their cards.
No. He gets that card's superpower.
That sounds more balanced.
And that superpower remains in effect even after that model is potentially KO'd.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying, like, you have to take whatever Horseman card gives you the place ability, because APOC needs to be able to do that every turn. Again, I could be wrong, but that's how I would initially build an APOC list. Like, it is APOC and either Famine or Pestilence every turn, or every squad of 5, if you will.
I'm sure somebody's done it. I really want to put this into a pivot table and look at all the, like... I assume they mapped it all out. Like, are there the same number of 3-pointers available to all 4 Horseman rolls? Or, like, what about, like, the 5-pointers? Because there's Cable and Cassandra. I think those are the only 2 5s.
Famine's what I'm talking about. So you have to take someone with Famine every game.
Correct. So Famine is Cassandra Nova, Deadpool, Gambit, Iceman, Magic, Sinister, Psylocke, Blob. So no 2-pointer there, and 1 5. And then there's 3 4s, I think. What's the ability again for Famine? It's like a place?
Choose one enemy character within 2. That enemy character loses a power. Separate, not if then, place this character within 2 of his current position.
Okay. So you do that to Magic. Magic becomes really fast. But it's also really good on Blob.
Giving Blob mobility. Psylocke getting where she needs to.
I think Psylocke's pretty mobile on her own, but yeah, it's always good to have more.
And I would want the ability to have different threat levels, so I would probably do Deadpool, Blob, and Psylocke. Kind of, in my mind, they are my famine target in every single game, one of those three.
Mm-hmm. I would assume after reps, you would have it narrowed down to probably one or two.
Sure. I mean, I think Deadpool becomes super interesting, right? Because
he can steal 4 power from somebody.
3, right? 2 with his own, and then 1 with this.
No, his does 3.
It's just 3? No, it doesn't.
Let me check.
Okay.
But his loses 2. It's within 3. I think somebody was doing that wrong to me.
So I would start off with Blob or Deadpool as my primaries for that particular card. Toad probably gets to be Pestilence every game.
Oh, no. There's only 2 3-pointers that can be Pestilence? So they definitely didn't make that even. There's the 2-pointer and 2 3s. Everybody else is 4+. So that means there's 5 4+ options. Oh, no, sorry, Beast. I missed Beast the first time. Let me kind of...
I mean, the other way you could skin this cat is by just saying, okay, well, rather than taking the largest turds we can find and shine them, let's start off with the better ones. And I see like 6 characters on here that I would want to put in a list.
Right, yeah, so that's what I was looking at. Is like, assuming you want Pestilence in every game, the go-to options are... Because you were talking about like Famine being Blob earlier. Well, if you do Famine as Blob, then you only have Beast and Toad at under 4 points for Pestilence.
That's fine. Like, I would start off with Beast, Cable, Deadpool, Psylocke, Blob, Toad.
No, but just choose 4, though. Not like, I understand you want redundancy, but...
I'm just saying, I just looked at the characters that could be in this affiliation, and those are the 6 best.
Sure, but I'm just saying, for building an actual roster, I would start with 4, is just the way I would approach it, to make sure that you don't have like, oh, well, none of these people can be Pestilence, so this doesn't work.
Well, I guess we construct it differently then. I would go back afterwards and be like, okay, can I make everything with these 6 characters?
Confirm your list is legal.
Yeah. Beast, Cable, take care of Pestilence and War. Deadpool's Famine. Psylocke is Death. Toad is Death. Blob is... Yeah. Now, the problem is, can I make every roster combination of points? Fuck, probably not, but again...
Yeah, it's just the way I approach it. I would start off with, who's my favorite Pestilence model? Like, with the combo of abilities and the models play on the board, I would find my favorite at that slot. And then I would do the same across the board. Then I would look at where I was on points, then start looking at redundancies for different point totals.
Okay.
Jeremy, how excited are you to do this once APOC comes out?
I like him because he's a big model, and I like painting bigger models. That's fun. But to construct something, like, I really hope he's on the Dormammu level of, like, silliness. Of, like, it's really cool to play him, and it's super fun and whatever, but not that great. Again, I hate to see people put together the perfect missile and just send it forward. Like, if it's that every time, I'll hate to fucking see it.
Yeah, I'd hate for there to be some kind of, like, 2-character combo that's in every single list forever, because it's just obviously the best. Like,
that's what I'm worried about.
Let's say, like, Toad and Blob become... Just because Leapfrog is too good, just become automatically. I know.
Leapfrog.
He tried to play Leapfrog for like 6 months.
Oh, I did. It was actually good when I got to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as you only took 80 games to set up, and then it was great.
It wasn't 80 games.
Everybody started taking heave-ho, and the game just broke.
But yeah, I mean, if it's just going to become like, Blob, Magic, Toad, Wolverine, and Apocalypse in every single 17-point game or whatever it ends up being. Like,
I just can't see it not being that. I can't imagine it.
Well, I don't think
how is that different than any other fucking affiliation, though?
Yeah, I mean, the point totals aren't consistent enough, I think, to make a roster that easy button. The difference is, with this versus a normal roster, you're probably not going to see, we're doing 15 instead of 17, I'm just cutting my 2-pointer. That's probably not going to happen as much because they want to get as many of the horsemen on the table as possible. At least that would be my guess.
It's just like when I played last WTC, Sam. Like, I had my 17. It's a really good Sam 17. I played it every time. And then, I don't know. Again, I don't see a problem with that. That's just part of affiliation identity.
Yeah.
It's probably that way. It's probably fine.
I look at the list of characters you can take, and I'm very whelmed.
Yeah, there's a lot of middle of the road people here.
Okay.
Aaron would call them well below average models.
We would call them that. Or
because
we
you
would call
know
them
they're
bad.
top 60%.
Now, I don't know if giving them the APOC cards makes them good, but just offhand, I'm going to say...
I mean, we don't even know if there's more cards coming yet, right? There could be a bunch of affiliated tattoos cards we don't know about.
Correct.
This looks fun to experiment with. It does look interesting. I will probably have fun putting it on the table and trying to find fun combos for a while, but that's only because I'm going to intentionally bury my head in the sand and not read the internet. I feel like the way to ruin the fun in this is just look up what other people think is the best way to play it.
I think APOC himself is better than he's being given credit for on the interwebs.
Is he
looked pretty
splashable?
cool when I
Is he
looked at
like
him.
strong?
So people are saying no. No is
Okay.
the answer, and I am not sure I agree with that.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have 2 and 8 rerolls, so he's obviously garbage.
I mean, I'm not saying he's overpowered, but I'm intrigued by his refusal to die ability. And by that, I mean heals every time you damage him.
Shittiest DR.
Everyone says that. Why is that the shittiest DR?
Well, because you can die before you stop the damage.
Sure. You also don't
that's
pay
really
for it
it.
like every other fucking model,
No,
and
sure,
it's not to a minimum of 1.
I actually don't think it's bad, but it's clearly worse than Thanos DR.
Sure. Okay,
It's
it is worse than the best
hold on.
DR in the game.
It's worse than Jug's DR.
Is it though?
I mean, getting dazed is worse than not getting dazed.
I mean,
Is it?
I
but
like
also-
saving
hold on.
5 power by not having to spend to do it.
Well, no, hold on. Let me see. Because it's not just that, right? It's only from like enemy attacks. Yeah, it's only on attacks, and it's 1 damage. So it doesn't work on collisions. It doesn't work on anything like that. It doesn't work on neutral damage. It doesn't work on friendly damage. It's worse than Jug's DR.
Sure, you
Admittedly,
combine that
Jug's
with his
cost
ability
power.
to heal through his other superpowers.
Sure.
And I think
no, I'm
there's
not
something
saying
there.
he's a bad model or it's a bad ability. I'm just saying it's better than some DRs, I would say. Like the DRs that go to a minimum of 1 and only work on enemy effects, I would say it's definitely better than those. But it's not premium DR, I wouldn't say. But I don't think he's squishy either. Like we're just comparing one part of his kit. I actually think he looks fun to play. I don't know why people are saying he's bad.
My only issue is if you take I forget which one it is. The one that lets him move out, because obviously you can't play that if he's being splashed. How integral is that to his kit? It might be a bridge too far. I don't know.
Yeah. This has a reminiscent feeling of bad memories of FFG games, and that's mostly due to I don't know if you guys played X-Wing back in the day, but they released regular ships and they were fine, whatever. And then Dogfighters came out and they were too strong because regular ships could never get them in their like area of fire. They just dodge out of your attack area every time. So regular ships couldn't beat Dogfighters. Then they came out with turret ships that could shoot 360. Then the Dogfighters auto lost to turrets because they ignored line of sight. And then they released a card to buff Dogfighters against turrets, and then they couldn't lose to turrets anymore. And so they just kept doing this like, well, this ability is too strong, I have to counter it with a new ability. And so it's convenient that like DR was one of the strongest abilities in the game. Then Namor comes out, he ignores DR. Then the exact next model released has DR that ignores DR ignoring. It's great.
You know what it doesn't ignore? Grievous wounds.
Wait, damn it. I was going to say that.
I've been waiting to play
You know
that
what
card
does
for
ignore
2
grievous
years.
wounds?
The game?
50% of defense rolls. Yeah, 50% of defense rolls ignore grievous wounds. Wait, hold on. Oh, please tell me that he actually heals on the grievous wounds attack. What's the wording on this thing? Okay, it does work. All right, good.
Don't tell me I have
All
to
right.
take out that card from my...
No, you still don't have
Okay,
to.
good,
but...
good.
I have an interesting rules interaction from a game today.
Ooh.
Not that I was playing, but I got asked about.
Okay.
I won't name names, but someone was playing a game, and
Was
the
it
opponent
Chris?
said that they got to roll dice on a collision and then decide if they were going to play brace or not.
Oh yeah, Parker did that to me like several games in a row.
Okay.
It's like, that's not how that works.
How does it work?
Yikes.
You respond to the collision, not to the dodge roll. At the point you're at the dodge roll, you've missed the point to respond.
So you never roll dice?
No, on you cannot roll dice on the dodge and then play brace.
You're only half correct.
The only argument would be is that you're trying to ignore the single point of damage on the other person, but then they've missed the other person's missed their opportunity to play card if you've already rolled.
So the correct answer is you must decide whether you're playing the card at the moment the collision would happen.
Yeah.
The card never tells you not to roll dice.
Oh, sure.
So you're supposed to still roll.
That's funny.
After you play the card.
Shit, I would have took 0.
Why, Jeremy, would you ever do that?
Because you have scientific hubris.
Ding.
And if you don't, you get a warning for stalling.
Nice.
Say what?
I said if you don't have the ability to have an effect off of the die roll, you get a warning for stalling.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, technically you're supposed to play brace, and if you have a trigger, go ahead and roll to see if you get a trigger. I don't know. I can't think of any enemy trigger that would require you to roll to see if it benefits them in any way. But anyway, I thought that was good to bring up because one of the people in question had never heard that you're supposed to roll dice.
Alrighty, let's move into our next segment. We have currently playing. So you two are going to NashCon. Any fun, special stuff you guys are playing at NashCon?
Go ahead, Jeremy, first.
Well, I haven't played a lot of games recently, but I have played enough to say, oh, that guy's pretty good. So I'm going to be running Defenders. I said, Aaron, build me a Defenders list. So we did. And it's really fun. That's what I'm going to be playing. Defenders. All weekend, I'm going to play Defenders on the championship Saturday as well.
I wish you great luck in all of your mirror matches.
Okay.
I don't think Defenders will be more than 10% of the field.
Is that because you already looked at Longshanks?
No, I have not.
Longshanks it is.
I'm willing to bet. I think he actually hit everyone's stuff.
Probably did. He should have. But
well, if I'm the TL, it's up to you to hide your own shit.
That's true.
Yeah, I think of 64 players, I think less than 7 will be Defenders.
I would agree.
I think it'll be close to that. I think it'll be 5 or 6.
Yeah. I think there's other interesting ways to play Namor, and I think probably people are taking up on that. Yeah.
So there's Team Timelines event, NashCon Grand Tournament for MCP. There's only 47 players signed up.
Yep.
That means we only need 5 to get 10%.
What is our breakdown of players? So I don't even know what you're playing. So I'm doing Defenders on the team tournament. What are you playing, Aaron?
Team tournament, I'm playing a combination X-Force Brotherhood list.
Jesus Christ.
It was pure Brotherhood, and I was like, I don't really feel like playing mags, so we're going to put Cable in this list. And it's 5 Brotherhood models with Mystique, 4 X-Force models, and Black Cat.
What is Ryan playing?
Ryan is playing Master of the World Cabal. So I'm trying to... I have all the scory scenarios, and you and Ryan have all the beat face scenarios.
Oh, Lord.
All right, so
as much as we can manage it anyway.
I have pulled up the event, and the runner of this event, which is Nate Gerard,
Mhm.
went very Aaron with the settings. And
Hell
so, yes, you can choose to have your list hidden, and you can also choose to not have it hidden.
As it should be. Power to the people.
So, the majority, the 25 of the 47 people currently have no affiliation selected or have it hidden.
Uh-huh.
So, of those people, we've got, 9 players have not hidden their list and entered it.
9 Defenders.
There is currently 1 untied winner in most representation. Would you guys like to guess which affiliation?
1 untied winner. So one that is the most.
One has the most
of the 20 lists that are available to look at.
No, of the 11.
Oh, 11.
9 of the 9.
Of the 9. Okay. No, I don't give a shit to think about.
Okay.
Non-data.
Jeremy, what's your guess?
I'm going to say Cabal.
Asgard.
Nope.
It's Asgard.
Cabal is not on the list. Asgard is not on the list.
Okay.
Defenders, however, is number 1 right now.
Oh, no. God damn it.
Jeremy, did you not hide your list? Are you one of them?
No, I was going to say this should be pretty easy.
You entered it. Are you talking about the champion thing?
I did not enter your champion list.
I might have just put Defenders, but I didn't put list.
Here, let me find you real quick. I'll check.
I'm gonna say, make sure you humiliate me.
And I'm going to make fun of you for not having it hidden.
It's fine.
You are showing defenders, but your list is not entered.
Yep.
That's very Jeremy move right there.
Mm-hmm.
So tied for second is Spider Foes and Midnight Suns, and then tied for fourth is Guardians Criminals. But yeah, exactly.
Great.
This is not data. This is such a small sample
That's
size.
excellent data.
However, we now only need 4 more defenders players to break the cap.
That's
So I also think that at an event like this, you're going to have 64 people. I'm going to say 25 are going to be playing what they consider to be like super crunchy, trying to win a bunch of shit lists.
Yeah.
The other 40 people are going to show us what they've been
Defenders.
playing, what they like, right? Like
Yeah,
the people
no,
that play
that's-
Guardians because they play Guardians. They're going to play Spider
this-
Foes because they bought a Spider Foes box. I'm going to play
this-
them.
I would say roughly half the players don't give a shit what the meta is. They're going to play what they want to play. And then I would say the top 25% are only playing the most meta stuff. And then the other 25% in the middle are kind of a mix. Like, they're playing the thing that they like the most that is kind of meta. But yeah, I think we'll see what it turns out to be.
This is exactly how you end up playing Sentinels and losing.
Yeah.
Playing into Sentinels or playing with Sentinels?
Yeah.
Playing into Sentinels
Both.
and losing.
Both.
I don't know who would do that.
Mm-hmm. If you concede, it's not losing. It doesn't count. If you table flip, the game never ended. It's an asterisk.
Drink a bunch of apple moonshine, okay?
Yeah. I think specifically the reason I'm expecting so many defenders is because defenders were like a sleeper meta pick for a while already, and then Namor just coming out is just, I think, going to push it over the top. I think we're going to have more than 10%, which is a huge disparity, right? Because there's, 28 affiliations? It should be like 3% is average.
I still don't. I think that if you want to use Namor and really punch holes, I agree with Aaron and also Kenny.
I think there's other choices. I think it was just for how quickly this is happening after the release of the model. I think Defenders is probably the first place people got comfortable with him. And then there's obviously going to be some forward thinkers that are playing like Red Skull 3 or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Oh, he called me a forward thinker.
No, that's not what you're playing though, right?
I probably am.
Okay. So now he's a follower, I see. You missed your 3-second window.
Damn it. Yeah, I still have not actually picked my list yet.
Any predictions? Ooh, unused affiliations. There's a lot here.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
I predict there will be 7 unused affiliations.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Servants of the Apocalypse is currently unused. Just heads up.
Okay.
I didn't even recognize the symbol. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's just Egyptian crook.
Wow.
It's an Ankh.
Or an Ankh, yeah, you're right.
Predictions?
Yeah, who's going to win?
Honestly, I have no idea. That would be an Aaron thing. I don't have any clue.
Can I just pick
As
Namor?
in, I don't follow.
I
don't follow the meta.
I'm going to guess Namor's in the winning roster.
Oh, I would concur with that.
I can see Asgard.
With Namor?
I don't
with
know
Namor.
that Asgard wants Namor.
I didn't say they did. I'm just asking, are you on the Namor train or not? Because you keep saying he's not broken, and I'm saying that this random 5-point model is going to be in the winner's roster. Are you willing to put your money where your mouth is? What's going on?
He already has a shaved head.
Because if he says no, I think he will be in the winning roster. He needs to admit that Namor's overpowered.
I admit nothing.
Okay,
because he's not overpowered.
So you think he's not going to be in the winning roster then?
Not what I said.
Okay, well
that's not what I said.
I'm happy to pick for you if you don't want to pick.
I think that the meta is either Zamor or Loki 2. And if a roster that's not running one of those wins, I think I will not be shocked because there are a lot of rosters that can do very well, especially with reps, right? Like if Ghost Ear shows up playing X-Men, he could just take the whole thing down. Pick any person that's played, kind of mono affiliation their entire MCP career. So I wouldn't be shocked, but I would absolutely not bet against a Zamor or Loki 2 doing extremely well in the tournament.
He said all of that. He didn't actually answer any of the questions we had asked to this point.
It's because he's scared.
I'm making a run in politics.
I know. He's afraid.
He said a lot of things.
Your run in politics stopped the second you joined this podcast.
He said a lot of things.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't...
All right, so me and Jeremy have clearly stated that we think someone running Namor is going to win the tournament. which means Aaron is clearly taking the opposite because he is not voiced otherwise.
Namor will not be in the winning roster. How about that?
There we go. See? Boom.
Damn.
You
sure you want to take that stance? That'll make you look stupid
in
if
other...
you're wrong.
Yeah, I already feel stupid.
Yeah, you regret it hard. Like, it's like, because he also didn't ask what the stakes were, and he didn't know it was the biggest stakes of all. One probationary episode.
Oh, fuck.
We all
haven't
know
had one of those in a while.
Only have power if you believe in them.
That's mostly true.
Like Voldemort. I deny it.
So we took a poll on our Discord channel. If you're not on the Discord channel, I'll let you know what it was. We said that we need to come up with a name for the long-moving medium-based models.
Those were all dumb.
The ASMs, the Angelas, the Namors. And so we came up with Zoomers. And so Zoomers is now the official terminology for the long mediums.
I don't like it.
Well, if you didn't like it, you should have voted.
Schmediums.
Schmediums.
I don't like any of that. Yeah, I don't like
except that's not what that means.
It's not clever.
Schmediums is
it's not. No.
Zoomers. It's catchy and fast. That's all we need.
Along with random names that mean nothing, I'm officially calling my list Zamor 3.
That's fine.
Which is Zemo, Namor, under Red Skull 3.
Yeah, we got that.
Did you?
You'll be the 5th or 6th one of those. We'll look for it on.
Yeah, maybe. There are so many good shells for him. Rather.
Anyway, the reason I brought up Zoomers is because I want to see the astronomically high percentage of playing Zoomers in your roster after this weekend.
In my roster?
No, of the whole tournaments. Like, out of all
Everyone
of the events, I want to see the percentage of them in people's rosters. Wow. So I think it's going to be astronomically high.
I think, and the people who don't have one are going to wish they had one.
Yeah, and I think it's only going to go higher from here.
I'm going to say I think culling eyes was a mistake.
I think it was I think it's perfect. I love it.
I think taking eyes away and also not doing anything else was a mistake. I think doing it in a combination of moves would have been great.
I think it might be great with whatever crises are coming down the pipe next year. But as it exists now, let me just give you a quick little anecdote. Kenny was wanting to play a Kingpin list for the next couple of months, waiting for APOC to come out. So he sent it to me, and I'm like, "What's your answer to Namor?" He's like, "I don't know." I'm like, okay, so let's retool this, and we're going to, instead of playing Kingpin, we're going to play MODOK, because MODOK 2 probably has the most underrated leadership. I think it's really going to help you spike.
I don't know about underrated. I people don't like it a lot, I guess, but
okay.
Is it worse than I remember? Is it better than I remember it being? It's if you are contesting, you get to change one after a wild. Yeah, I played this guy a bunch when he first came out. It almost never came up. Maybe it's just my wild rolls, but
I'm lost.
You're lost.
Long movers versus. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, so we changed the list to be MODOK 2 centric. He wants to play MODOK 2, Namor, Zemo, and Loki. Loki 2 as often as he can. That combination is pretty fucking degenerate. Because you're right, if I roll dice and I hope for a wild, okay, maybe not. What if I get to reroll 2 on top of it?
If you have 8 die attacks versus 5 die attacks, it's definitely more likely.
Yes, right? So
the issue being that you have to be contesting.
Sure, right? I'm not saying it's, God's gift to everything. It's clearly worse offensively than Red Skull 3, but much better defensively. Because now I'm re-rolling 2 on defense, assuming I'm contesting an objective or holding an objective. And if I happen to get a wild with all of my initial rolls plus re-rolls, I get an extra block. So I might just block the fucking world. I really want to run this list and see how often, first of all, the triggers come up, and secondly, how often it's the re-rolls that give you the triggers.
Yeah.
But here's getting back to my point was, he wants to play this combination of people. And I said, okay, well, what is your plan for punishing the midline? If you don't have one, you're wrong. That's why my Red Skull 3 list has Logan. I'm going to put Namor on one side and Logan on the other. And I'm going to say, go pick up something on the midline. I triple fucking dare you. Played in the Asgard 2 nights ago for my first Asgard game ever. Guy moved Ghost Rider up to the midline, and I dazed... Yeah, Ghost Rider, and I dazed Ghost Rider, top of 1. So whoever you move to the middle because they don't have eyes anymore, if you just keep them there, I'm gonna fucking kill them. And now I get your objective. I'm up 3-1 on hammers, and you have a dazed Ghost Rider. Like, it's just a lose-lose.
No, yeah, I totally agree with that. You need at least like a Toad or something. Like,
Sure,
or
Toad
maybe
would be great.
Toad, Juggernaut is another good example. Like, Juggernaut can go do it because he can. There's several leaderships let him not only get it and get back, but also Jug's just not going to die once he picks it up. Like, he's so hard to bring down.
I would still just absolutely go into him with Red Skull 3, Zemo, and Namor, and Mystique. Like, Mystique says you can't spend. Namor says you can't spend. Like, I'll take that all day long.
I can spend.
You can spend.
I can spend on Namor. It just doesn't produce damage.
What? Can you?
Yeah, his ability says his damage can't be prevented, not that you can't spend power on his turn.
Reduce the amount of damage suffered.
Yeah. No, I'm making a semantic argument that I can spend power, it just does nothing.
Oh, got it. Yes.
Yeah, you missed the joke, I see.
Haha. Okay.
No,
anyway, my whole point was...
No, but my point is that you clearly wouldn't set up Jugs to pick up that hammer if he's got 3 fucking guys standing in front of it. I'll just go get the other one.
Yeah, but I have Prio with my extracts, so I just put Logan, or else I put Namor on one side, and I overload the other. I safe pick up the one hammer, and I have 3 people ready to punish you, and you pick up the other one.
Sure.
Like, that's what we're looking at now in a world without eyes. And I think
it's not just eyes, it's also mission objective and all the other shit they did.
Sure.
100%, it makes no fucking sense that the world we currently live in.
So, from a competitive sense, you absolutely have to be playing a list that either punishes the middle or has a way to safely extract the middle, either with the playing of a zoomer or with one of 5 or 6 different affiliations that can do it.
How does Toad work out on, like, Logan can't get to Toad, right? He's too far away.
Yep, Toad's too far away from most things.
I'm sure that almost every list is going to include one of the Zoomers or Toad or something equivalent, but...
Oh, they're not. Yeah. The ones at NashCon will not. A good number will, but the people that don't are just going to lose.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean.
Not every game, but...
Yeah, and clearly
that's my point, is they're going to leave NashCon saying, man, I wish I had a better plan for how to treat the midline turn 1.
I don't think that's a secret. I think everyone knows that.
I think you are wrong.
The other issue is, like, the other way around it is you just let them go up on extracts. In this example of, like, you won Prio and you got the missions you wanted. You just let them go up on extracts and you just plan for stealing. And you just put 3 stealers in your roster and try and take their shit. But even with all of that, the list that are running stealers usually have one of those models on top of everything. Or 2, because you're running, like, ASM and Toad. Anyway. Jeremy, who's your money on affiliation-wise?
Who's going to win affiliation-wise?
Yeah. You get 1 pick for affiliation to win.
Cabal.
I don't think the Red Skull 3 list is consistent enough to win, just because it's so dice-dependent. That's my same issue with MODOK 2's leadership, is even if it's great on average, you'll just have 1 bad game out of 5.
Well, it depends who shows up. Like, I still
if
think
there's
Webbs
enough
is
of
the
them,
strongest.
yeah.
I still think Webbs is the strongest in the game. Yeah. I just don't know who's going to show up and what's going to happen. Like, I think because of the noise that Red Skull 3 and this Zemo plus Namor thing is happening, I think there's going to be a lot of it. So, I mean, if there's a lot of it and you have a few people playing it that are very good at the game, likelihood of that showing up on top is high.
I'm going to pick Defenders, but I also think Webbs are still the best list.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron, did you say Asgard earlier? Feel free to pick something else. I thought that's what you said.
All right, so I think Red Skull 3 is hands down the best list in the game.
Okay.
But I could absolutely see a tall Asgard list on the right scenario winning any game.
Sure.
So
what affiliation are you picking?
I'll pick Asgard.
Okay. Cool. I think it'd be fun to do a data dive on win percentage versus, like, inclusion of the Zoomer models and break it down that way. But I assume everyone's going to have to enter their list, so we could actually do that for the championship round.
Sure. Have fun.
Yeah, I know, right? Alrighty. Do you guys have anything else you want to chat about before we get out of here?
Nope.
Any fun predictions from NashCon for you guys?
5-round tournament. I'm going to go 3-2.
What about the team tournament?
Ooh, the team
You
tournament.
guys are taking that shit down, right?
I think
Make sure you're wearing your Infamous jerseys.
we are going to... We're going to take third. We're going to take third. We're going to have a good Friday and take third in the team tournament.
I get a lot of second places at team tournaments. Third sometimes, I guess.
Jeremy, what's your prediction?
Man, I would like to think third. I'm gonna follow you and say third. That sounds about right. I just want to have good games, honestly. That's really of the predictions of the what's gonna happen at NashCon. I would like to leave NashCon with a positive feeling and want to play more games of MCP. Currently, I'm right on the edge of, do I want to play more games, or am I ready to just play this as a social, drink a beer every once in a while game? So I would love to be, like, I feel like tabletop games I'm like addicted to. So do I need this in my life or not? I'd love to leave this convention with a, I'm back addicted again. That's what I'm looking for.
But the fun thing about Adepticon is leaving and being super energized for the game.
Yep.
But with that, we'll go ahead and get out of here. This has been Brandon.
Jeremy.
And Aaron.
And you've just listened to Infamous 80s Style.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down Infamous.
Boom.
We finally made it.
We did it. This one's not going to, like, no one's going to agree with this one, but I'm putting it on my list just in case.
I think it's easy to, I mean, look, which ones affected you and, like, were the best? You know what I mean? Like, of the time.
There's so many.
Not looking
Yeah, there's
back.
so many, though, because, like, in the 80s, you didn't have on demand. And so, like, even in the early 90s.
Dude,
like,
you had a
we didn't have
VHS
that
tape
shit.
that you fucking wore
So
out.
you saw it on TV, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I missed the first half of that. It's like, well, I'm not going to go spend $20 to see the first 10 minutes. So there's so many of these movies I haven't, like, seen. And so it's like, oh, man, like, I can't put it on the list even though I've basically seen it.
Yeah. See, I actually grew up with, these were when I was, like, 10. So these were the movies that, like, actually shaped me into being like, holy fuck, this is the best thing ever. I'm going to be that character.
Yeah. I'm choosing specifically movies that, like, you couldn't make them in any other decade just because, like, they're just so fucking crazy. like, how did this film get made? Like,
I've got some guesses
not only
on
that,
what you're talking
but it's
about.
good. Like, holy shit. What's the name of the I want to say it's Eddie, is it Eddie Murphy? The Last Vampire in Brooklyn, I want to say is the name of the movie.
Mm-hmm. It is.
That movie's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I think I have enough here.
There's only 1 million that are amazing.
There's so many.
We're not doing best 80s movies. It's quintessential 80s movies, right?
Yeah, movies that, like,
Well, the
are
best to
the
you.
80s. Yeah. Well, it's the topic isn't what are the best movies made in the 80s, right?
Mhm.
It's what movie best represents the culture of the 80s.
Oh, well,
Yes,
I'm not
in
doing
my
that.
opinion.
I'm doing the ones that
Okay.
That you
are
like?
important
Okay.
to me.
You're just going
that
for
I
the
love.
highest box office rating in the 80s. That's all he's
Shit.
listing.
No way, dude. Not at all. My list is amazing.
Yeah, I think we'll be good. All right, as a low-hanging fruit, let's see.
I'll
I
hit
think
you
a
if you
good
do it.
example movie. Okay,
Who's
here we
first?
go. This is what I'm not. It's definitely not on my list. I don't care if you guys take it. Teen Wolf is a perfect example.
Mhm.
Like, only could be made in the 80s, and it perfectly encapsulates how fucking insane people were in the 80s.
Oh, it's stupid as fuck, and dumb
It's
stuff was
so
happening.
dumb,
the
but it's
whole
like
time.
heartwarming and like it's just so stupid you can't hate it.
And you're like,
it's
Why couldn't I be a Teen Wolf? Like, when you were watching that, when
Exactly,
you were my age at
like-
the time, you're like, why wasn't I a Teen Wolf? And I would really like to be one.
Adventures in Babysitting is another one. It's just like no one could make this movie now. It's so insane.
That's on my list of 6.
I bet it is because it's a good movie.
You should stop listing movies.
I know. Well, it's
'Cause-
hard. Some of these, when we do non-objective categories, which is why I hate doing it, it's really hard to... I want to get across to the audience what the category was. Because it's not easy to say it out of context, and like when they can't ask follow-up questions. All right. How was your guys' week?
Good. I played a lot of video games.
Nice.
Good. I'm glad you got that in.
The problem is I keep trying to try to get my 2-week total to 100 hours, but I keep slipping because I apparently played a lot last Monday and Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. And it just fell off.
Like I played, 16 hours over 2 days, and I went down 2 hours in my 2-week play total. I'm like, God damn it! Need to stay awake more often.
So I finished up Sons of Anarchy today.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
I unfortunately, one of the reasons I hadn't gone back and watched the show is I randomly knew how the show ended because I just walked in to hang out with a buddy one time and he was watching the show and I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. Like, what episode is this? He's like, this is the series finale. And right then the show ended. I'm like, oh god damn it. So I never bothered to finish it, but I even know going in knowing what was going to happen, it was still a good show. I liked it. There were a lot of tropey moments, not as bad as most shows, where it's just this is clearly obvious dramatic writing and not anything realistic. It's like they had to make this scene gripping for some reason, so they just wrote an unbelievable plot point.
Mm-hmm. I went and saw Deadpool Wolverine.
Nice.
I used my free tickets.
Oh,
Which I'm
did you
sure-
drive all the way to Eudora to use your ticket?
No, I did not. I used it
Oh, okay.
locally. And the best part was when I handed him
Was
the
it
tickets,
40?
they were absolutely dumbfounded. They'd never seen tickets like the ones I had. They were like
Mhm.
golden tickets. I could have walked in and owned the place, I think. He goes,
I bet.
I've seen the ones where you can see almost everything. I've never seen the ones where you can do anything you want. I was like, yep.
These are the triple escalation vouchers, where you threaten somebody at knife point.
Yep. But yeah, we went and saw that. It was as expected in that I went to the movie. It was in the theater I wanted to go to, and I had the treats that I would have liked. It was wonderful.
Nice. Did your seat move?
It didn't. I didn't even try and do that business.
Did you get squirted in the face randomly throughout the movie?
Nope. Didn't need any of that.
Does it even count as a movie then?
My senses were not fully aroused, but kinda. So,
All right. So what did you think? Did you like it?
honestly, you want a rating here.
Well, don't give spoilers, but yeah,
I won't give you a
thumbs up.
spoiler.
All right. Yeah,
Okay,
just like
so
it.
I'll give you Deadpool 1, I'm going to say was an 8 out of 10. Deadpool 2,
Okay.
a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool Wolverine, 6.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
I could tell it was coming.
Well,
You were building it up. It felt like it was going to be a bad score. Well, I mean, not that it's terrible.
I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I will say
There are a lot.
There's a
right?
lot.
Like at this point,
Yeah.
you've probably gotten them.
No,
but-
I'm just going to say the one thing, and I told Aaron this, and he agreed, I think. I think the ability to jump time in this multiverse shit has ruined the MCU. There is no accountability for any character's actions anymore. So that part really I like Deadpool 1 and 2 a lot. I like Hugh Jackman a lot.
I definitely can see the argument that time travel ruins everything, which is everyone's problem with Endgame initially, which is
Mhm.
why I like that they made it. It made it so obvious that this is not intended to be a reoccurring effect. Because they're like, all right, we have to immediately destroy all the stuff. It's all broken. They gave
Yeah.
reasons why they couldn't keep doing it. Yeah, I really liked the movie, but it's definitely not the same as the first two.
No.
It had a different feel to it.
This one felt like they were playing a lot. He was
Mhm.
having the best. Everyone was having the best time of their life with it, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But again, there
this
wasn't
felt like a
anything
reunion
heavy.
almost.
Yeah, there wasn't anything heavy. Every time a new character would pop up, it was just oh, that's cool. Okay, coolness factor 1,000, but
Mhm.
factor of gripping my heartstrings 0. The first two were amazing for that. It had a heart.
Yeah.
This one just didn't have a heart, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know if I really don't like giving a rating on a movie till I've seen it twice, at least like an important one, because I always think you have the recency bias of just seeing it. Where Jake, one of our locals, is famous for this. Whatever movie he saw last is the best movie he's ever seen.
Intensely.
And it's not an exaggeration.
Loves it intensely.
The Star Wars story Solo was the single greatest movie he had ever seen 2 weeks after seeing it. I was like, maybe you want to try that one again. Maybe just wait for it to come out on DVD, give it a second look, let me know if you still feel the same way. But anyway, so yeah, there's definitely, I hate doing that. Like Oppenheimer, I loved it, and coming out of theater, I was like, that movie was freaking awesome. But like, I'm always hesitant to overreact to just seeing something. But I definitely really enjoyed Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah. I mean, Heather absolutely loved it, which was great because I didn't know she hadn't watched the other two. Her MCU is not her deal. Like she just would like a romantic comedy every day of the week. But she came out. She's like 95% of those jokes were awesome. I'm like, okay, it's Deadpool. Like the whole thing is a big joke. So like, okay. But
yeah, I think
it was fun.
That's kind of how I felt coming out of Ragnarok because I wasn't expecting the super jokey movie because I refused to watch spoilers. So just walking into it, I wasn't expecting any of that. So it was just a totally different tone than you think the word Ragnarok, you're like, this is gonna be really serious,
deep,
straight to the action, and it was just very comedic, and I just wasn't expecting it. It was kind of off-putting. But after, absorbing it, I did really like Ragnarok.
Yeah. I did too. I thought Hela was fucking an amazing villain. Like the whole deal was really cool. That whole movie was kick-ass.
My only problem with Hela was I didn't understand why she just throws knives at people. That just seemed like a really weird power.
She
like I materialized knives, and we're like, okay.
She received those knives under the second patch. She got to, and she moved short towards her victims.
All right. So Jeremy did not like Deadpool.
I did watch, in case you're wondering. I don't want you to think that I just went to the movie and saw something popular and whatever. Okay. I watched Love Is Blind UK.
Of course you did. I mean, I assume it just auto plays when you walk in your house at this point.
Google, like in my phone, connect and everything, and they're like, "I'll just put it up there." Okay, cool.
You just got like one of those Xbox Connects where it sees you moving in the room. It just puts on Love Is Blind, like
God,
Japanese. You can't even understand what
Japanese.
they're saying.
I love how you had to preface that with, "I wasn't just doing it because it was popular, guys."
Yep, I was.
Isn't Love Is Blind popular? Like everyone fucking talks about it.
I don't even know what the fuck it is, so you're gonna have to explain.
Exactly.
It's a TV show where they handcuff you to a person you've never met. You have to go on a blind date. I don't know, something like that.
Incorrect.
Naked in
like,
the Arctic. Okay, got it.
Oh, so
you have to marry somebody that you go on a blind date with, right?
No.
Nope. What's the show then? Say it.
God damn it! Well, if you'd shut the fuck up for 2 seconds.
What is the show?
Oh my god, I don't even want to tell you. You would like it too much.
I'm going to Google it right now. I don't need you.
So everybody is in these pods. They can't see each other. They talk to each other for about a week or so. And all they do for like 7 days in a row is talk to each other through basically a screen. They never get to see each other. So the only way to go on these adventures and whatever is to propose. So these people will propose, and then the shit show commences. Because they propose, they go on honeymoon, they live together for, 8 weeks, I think. And
there's a dating app that's like exactly this, right?
What do you mean? Aren't all dating apps exactly this?
No, like there's one where there's no pictures. They don't allow pictures. You just talk to people.
Gross.
And
Fuck
you
that.
read their profiles.
Nope.
Yeah, right.
Nope, that's disgusting. I could not, like... if there was a rotating door, like... I can tell you from that app you described, it would be me walking in the room and half an hour late, looking for the one with like pills of sweat rolling down, looking for somebody, and I would like take a glance and probably just immediately leave. Like I couldn't handle that.
I'm not sure if that's better or worse than yelling at the the clerk at the movie theater.
Dude.
Jeremy Worldville.
You can't go on blind dates with fucking internet people. Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, yeah, if you want to donate your organs to a meal, you can.
Craigslist. My address and phone number are...
has too many organs, wants to sell some for food.
Yeah.
Like...
No, thank you. No, I mean, honestly, the dating apps and stuff are fine, but usually I will immediately go to texting each other and sending pics. Like, send me a pic. What do you actually fucking look like? Like, this whole thing is
Wow,
bullshit.
you're very aggressive with these pictures.
I mean, seriously, you should be. Like, you don't want to walk in the door. Like, I've had ones where the pics were completely wild. And then
I've heard stories from friends who were dating, and they're like, yeah, like literally their profile picture was from 20 years ago.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Like, I didn't know it was them. They had to introduce themselves for me to even understand who the person was. I'm like, oh.
Most of the legit ones will, honestly, they will, like Facebook, video or whatever. You'll do a video even before you even go out. Like, people are better about that than they ever were.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I'm who I said, and you are who you said. How about we meet? Instead, like, I can't even imagine the blind date thing. Holy Lord.
Yeah.
I'll be in the red shirt. That's 7XL.
So you guys are going to NashCon?
Yes, that we are. Jeremy even said he was excited.
Oh.
I said I was kind of softish hard. Not full hard.
Not full hard.
Just quarter
softish hard.
I said
play
softish.
MCP. Yeah.
It's like a semi-damp sponge.
Yeah.
Like a, kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, not dripping or anything.
He's not completely flaccid. Got
moist.
it.
Well, I mean, he's playing Namor, right? So he should be excited.
I do enjoy playing me some Namor.
Yeah, weird. It's a complete coincidence that everybody that plays him loves the game.
Oh.
That's really weird.
Well, if you're not playing Namor, are you really even playing the game?
I mean,
that's a good question.
Would say yes.
I'm playing the newest model and also the oldest model. I'm trying to play fair.
That's right.
It's like a sandwich of time.
I've got the best and the best. What do you mean?
It's like an Oreo, but the stuffing's on the outside.
Oh my god!
And all the gross shit's in the middle.
Yeah, it's funny because Defender seems like it should be so good, but it never achieves anything. I don't think. I don't know. It's fucking the number of rerolls and things you get are just insane.
I've never liked Daredevil's leadership. I know technically it is good, but it just seems like, I don't know, like it never seems to matter. Like every time I see
Daredevil's
it,
Daredevil's actually a really good model, but he's by far the worst model in your list.
That should make the list incredibly good.
You would think so.
No, Daredevil is a great model. I think
he is a below average 4 threat.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man. I don't think people understand what you mean when you say that. So by saying average, what do you mean?
Okay. What I
all
really
the fours
mean
of the game,
is that I do
sorted
not
them
think
into the pluses and the minuses.
I do not think there is any reason to splash Daredevil outside of leadership. And if you're never going to splash a model, I think they're actively, at best, okay.
So how many 4-pointers in the game do you think deserve to be splashed outside of leadership?
Ooh, hold on one
Logan,
second. We're gonna
Rhino. There's 2.
Because I'm willing to bet there's a lot of 4s that don't make your cut, which means it's not average if it's like 90% of them don't make it.
Okay,
So that's why I'm saying. That's why I brought
Logan
up the
and
average
Rhino.
thing. Because, like, what is average? Is it 50%? Or you're just saying average of what gets played? Because that's not the same thing.
I understand. That's why I needed to clarify what I really meant. Do you want me to do a quick up or down on every single 4 in the game real quick? I'll do that.
No, just like...
Which
give
ones
me an eyeball of how many you think are above average and how many you think are below average.
You have to name them too, or you're cheating.
I know.
No.
7.
Well, how many 4s are there?
Hold
Let's
on.
just start there.
Okay. Just give me a second.
He's spreadsheeting the fuck out of it. Just
I'm waiting.
I'm starting to get mildly harder.
There are 73 4s in the game. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's 35 of them that you consider above average. I think it's closer to like 8. And so your average is 90th percentile.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Riveting.
7. I'm only doing the obvious ones. 8.
Mm-hmm. Outside of leadership, which means like they deserve a spot in a roster
outside of their affiliations. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Finding it very surprising he's broken 15
Oh,
models that are
I'm certain.
obviously better than Daredevil.
2 of them are Sentinels, and this is bullshit.
Yeah.
They are not. 17 was my final tally, and there were like 4 or 5 unreleased models in that whole kit. So let's call it about 67. So 17 models, I think, are, we'll call it top tier, worth considering. And these were the slam dunks that I absolutely think you should consider splashing outside. There were about another 10 to 15 that I thought could be there, but I didn't want to. I wanted to keep it on the down low.
23%-ish.
17 out of 60 is like 25%.
Yeah.
It's about
20. It's mid 20s. Yeah. So
mid-20s.
I'm still.
And Daredevil's not on there.
I actually don't believe him.
I
would like to see this list typed up later.
Okay, real quick.
Not right now, just at some point.
Oh, okay.
I don't think this is a good radio topic, but if you think there's 17 models obviously better than Daredevil, that's surprising.
I think it's important that you name them. People want to know, because I think this is a lie. I can also say numbers out loud.
I'm waiting for my podcast Lord and Master to tell me what we're doing. Am I naming names, or we're just moving on?
No, we're not naming names.
Damn it!
Okay.
This might be a fun topic in the future, is everyone brings their list of 4-pointers and we see who's unanimous and who's not.
Ooh, I was about to just send it to you in a text, but I guess I can save it if we're going to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can do some of this later.
So, dear
Okay,
listeners, please send in
also,
emails.
I'm curious, because
he's a liar.
How much of this is you're like, well, this model isn't good on its own, but it is abusable with X, and so that's why it's played? And how much of it is like, this is the only good for in affiliation, so it gets played?
My 17 were out of affiliation, right?
Right. Just assuming in a complete vacuum, no buffs from other models are worth playing on their own merit.
Either their own merit, they did something super well, or they synergize super well with a certain leadership.
Okay, so you are counting leaderships into that.
Sure.
Okay, but we said we weren't.
My criteria is splashability.
Okay. But that's not splash if it's a combo.
Out of affiliation
combos?
splash? Well, that's the definition of splash.
No, but it's not a splash if you're just, for example, Zemo, like Zemo Namor, like, is a combo. Zemo is good on his own, but some models, when you're playing a specific combo, like, let's say Parker likes to run, like, Sabretooth with Green Goblin. Like, OG Sabretooth with Green Goblin, because he likes the attack back leadership combo.
Mm-hmm.
But then if he never plays Sabretooth outside of that one combo, then he's not a splash model. And I understand that it's
okay,
that's
sure.
not
If it's
true.
one specific combo, okay.
Right? You're saying like such and such model is just really good with this bonus. That's not a splash model. That's a combo piece.
Sure. Like Gwenna made my list of 17. I think she is solid overall. Sure. She is exceptional when she's able to combo with either Storm or Blade for the bump. Right.
Right, because there are effects in the game that just exist that trigger her effects. Less now that they banned, aim lackeys because it's too strong.
Very
strong.
Very strong. Yeah. So this would be an interesting topic that we could do later that isn't just ranking shit.
Yeah, no. Get to have an argument on cast. People love hearing about how I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it'll go really quickly for stuff when it's like, Logan, everyone agrees, moving on. And then, but we get to the ones where it's like only 2 of the 4 think that they're playable.
I wasn't even talking playable. I was talking like Nick Fury wasn't on my list, but I think you can fucking splash him.
He was
anywhere.
Not on your list? Oh my!
No, he should have been.
I'm gonna say that's not.
Like I said, if they were questionable, I left them off. They were really 17 slam dunks.
Okay.
And of course, still disagree with like 5 of them, but that's okay.
Just all
nature of
way more than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I started building my statue. I'm excited. He's behind me. You can actually see him.
What is it?
Looks like an expanded vulva.
I'm glad you think so. This is my Doom statue.
Is that the one you're going to have painted for you?
Yeah.
I need to close Discord very quickly and come right back.
Jeremy quit the podcast.
Okay, there we go. I'm back.
You sound much louder.
Something was happening where it wasn't showing your pictures or anything. Like it was just like lagging. I don't know.
In the future, while you're in Discord, you can press Control R and it will reload Discord without closing it.
Oh.
Just heads up.
I'm pretty sure I'll hit control something and upload my entire
Yeah.
computer to the cloud.
I'm aware.
Someone at work asked me, I'm having trouble hooking this TV up to this laptop, and like I've done all these things. What do you think? I was like, are you fucking kidding?
If you just hold the computer up to the TV, and it should project the image into
I'm like,
it.
did you plug it in? Like, I don't know what to tell you. I go,
I
I'll
was,
find
I
a
was-
young person to help.
Yeah. I was at a GameStop one time in the early 2000s, and somebody called in, and the guy was trying to help them troubleshoot the Xbox that they had just purchased. And he was on the phone for like 20 minutes while I was talking to one of the clerks. And eventually he's like, did you plug the Xbox into the TV? And he's like, what do you mean? It's just sitting on top. And he thought that just the physical contact of the console touching the TV transferred the image into it.
That's goddamn
It wasn't
plug
that
and play, man.
It wasn't that he forgot to plug in it, because he repeatedly asked him, is it connected to the TV? He goes, yes. He thought he
It's
meant
connected.
physical contact.
Physically connected.
Physically connected. He's like, are you sure? And it's like, yes. And eventually he's like, are you sure the wire, because it was the was it red, white, yellow back then, so he's like, are you sure that the colors are in the right spot? He's like, what colors?
What colors?
Like, god damn it.
What
Eventually
cables?
he just slams the phone down. He's like, so fucking god damn it. Wasted half an hour of my time. It was great.
So half of the job of anyone working at a retirement community is fixing people's TV.
Yeah.
All senior citizens do is fuck up their TV nonstop. Oh my god. So yeah, that's about as technical as I get. I'll walk in their room, I'll hit source 2-3 times, and go back to the thing that they fucked up, and they go, oh, thank you so much, done.
Did we have any news this week? I guess we have the spoiler list for the Horseman.
Ugh. You have to learn how to play a mini game inside of a game.
I am not excited, but also not unexcited.
You're
Like
whelmed.
so I don't know. So I have concerns with some of the complexity of the game
Let's-
being ramped up. Go ahead. What?
Yeah, let's save it for the cast.
Okay.
But
Well, you
I'm
guys
recording.
talked about it.
I like where you're going. I was just checking to make sure I had the news pulled up for the news segment,
Okay.
because I don't have Newsboy here. He's sleepy. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into Mojo World.
Mhm.
You guys ready for Mojo?
Dude, I
Born ready.
was so ready back in the 80s. I was ready.
I don't
was
think
ready.
that's true.
I was.
All right, listeners at home, this week we are doing Best 80s Movie. And now, just to clarify, this is not Best Movie from the 80s. This is the movie that most personifies the 80s. Everybody got it? Everybody's on page?
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, I messed up the order. Alrighty. Jeremy, you get to go first this week.
I get to go first?
Mhm.
Whew. There's so many of these that are amazing.
There's a deep list here.
This is.
Oh man.
Aaron had more than 3, which means it's
I know.
like the deepest.
I could have gone 4, but or more, but I didn't think there was any way you were pulling out some of my deep cuts. And then you named one off the bat, and I was like, "Fuck!"
I don't think you understand what a deep cut is, because I did not name like unknown movies.
I didn't think you were gonna name it. How about that?
That's fair.
So
street
I
cred.
was 8 or 9 or 10-ish around this time of mid 80s. So these
A wee
movies like
lad.
defined me. I'm gonna go with NeverEnding Story because that goddamn movie, like all I wanted was to find the attic so I could read a book in the attic of my
That's-
school. Like
That's
that
crazy.
that's what I fucking wanted.
Yeah, I think
So
I think that's a really good pick. All right, Aaron, you're up next.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
The entire fucking movie, but yes.
Ooh. All right.
Goddamn, these are coming out smoking.
So I got back-to-backs here.
Yeah.
I've named this one movie like 3 separate times on these lists, and I don't want to become a one-trick pony, so I'm going to skip it for now.
Please
give
do.
other people an opportunity. So I'm going with next is Demolition Man.
Was that an 80s movie?
It definitely is an 80s movie.
No.
I don't know if
Whether it came out in the 80s, I have to give Brandon this. It is a quintessential 80s movie.
Yeah.
It is 100% 80s. Time travel through cryosleep, where dinner dancing at Taco Bell. This is an 80s movie.
Yeah, that's true.
They do like breakdance fighting. No, this is a Wesley Snipes at his peak 80s movie.
Orato. What are those hamburgers? Orato.
All right, and then I just have to. Back to the Future.
Yep.
What coked up psychopath came up with this fucking movie?
Whew. Yeah.
What's crazy is all of the movies in the 80s that were set in the future, like Demolition Man and Back to the Future,
Yeah.
the future's already in our past.
Oh,
Mhm.
a long way.
Yeah.
If you're on Facebook, which I know Aaron isn't, there will be daily updates. It's like, hey, by the way, this is the day that like Marty and the Doc came to, and you're like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that happened fairly recently. Like, that was in the
Yeah, it
last
was
5 years.
2015. Yeah. And then COVID happened. We're like, shit.
They knew.
All right. Yeah, they knew. That was when it was over. All right, Aaron, you're up.
There's so many.
There's literally so many.
I
Don't
know.
pick the
Although,
wrong one.
Back to the Future is on my list of 6.
Oh, no.
Well, it should have been. It's fucking amazing.
We're going to go with Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, good pick. It had cocaine in it. It had
Had
crocodile
knives.
fighting. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it had everything.
I love at the very beginning of the movie, she's like, so you're not a poacher? And he's like, no. And he's like, what are all these shell casings in your boat for? And he's like, not poaching.
I saw that at the
I
movie
still
theater, and so good.
You call that a knife quote is probably one of the top 10 quotes of all time throughout all cinema.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's a good one.
It's funny how, like, some real classic 80s movies, like, have really died off in the quote department. I mean, they lasted forever, right? But it's like, there's still a few on the board, so I won't mention any specifically. But yeah, it definitely used to be everywhere, but it's, like, just so overdone now. All right, Jeremy, bring us home with your back-to-backs.
Back to back. All right.
Yeah.
Another movie that defined me. If I could possibly find a fucking treasure map in my attic and go search for treasure, that was exactly what I wanted to fucking do. Put the Goonies on the board, please.
I was waiting to type. I was like, he's talking about Goonies, right? All right.
Yeah.
Good choice. That was one of the ones I almost named earlier. It's like, obviously, Goonies falls exactly in this category.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And then the one that's not so obvious. God damn it. These are so good, dude. I need like a top 8.
I know, right?
Ugh. All right.
How about, Aaron, I don't know how deep you can go. I could do another set of 3.
So I stopped at 6, but I could go much deeper, yes.
All right. So let's just keep going,
Okay,
and I'll just
okay.
put 6 up, and I won't tell anyone which 2 are for who.
That's fine.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the first time I had a movie make me go, oh, that's what that was for. Karate Kid. Just fucking straight up. Why is that kid having to fucking polish cars? Why is that kid having to paint the fence? And then all of a sudden, he's a fucking ninja.
Put on your jacket.
Yeah, like, dude, Karate Kid. Straight up. Sweep the leg,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Alrighty. Aaron, your third pick.
I like to take one from like a different genre. Like you picked 2 future ones.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back to a different genre because I have Ferris Bueller's and Crocodile Dundee. We're gonna take Adventures in Babysitting.
Nice.
We saw that in school, and I think it has the word fuck in it. Like, it was...
I was so confused because at the time I saw the movie, I didn't know who Thor was because I didn't read comics.
Dude,
We
yeah.
didn't do mythology. So the guy comes down with a hammer and the helmet. I'm like, what is this weirdo?
Yeah.
Because they don't explain it. I was like just a kid when I saw it. It was weird. All right. I mentioned that one earlier too. All right. I don't know how this is the 9th pick off the board, but Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, fuck, dude. Okay, we're all dead.
We're all
That's
dead.
the one.
We failed as a race of people.
Fucking Jack Burton.
Checks in the mail.
Yep. Driving down a highway. I said checks in the mail.
All right. Okay, let me clean up my list of used here. Man, there's so many still to
Dude,
go.
they're so good. Like, this shit defined me, dude. It was so good.
All right, do we want to go backwards this time? Because we just
Sure,
let's go
whatever.
backwards.
It doesn't matter.
All right, so I'm going to go first now. I again, how is this still on the board? Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Because there's so many. Like,
there's so many. That's why I talk about people this all the time, which is part of the reason we came up with the list. It's like, name 10 movies that came out this year. And you go to the 80s, it's like, there's 100 amazing movies.
1,000.
And you're like,
Yeah.
it's just, they don't make them like this anymore. Like, it was before everything was super commercialized. It was so good. All right, Aaron. First pick, a second batch.
Running Man.
Oh,
ooh.
that's a good one. Good job.
That makes me laugh. I just
You love it when there's no me talking about it. It was like, good pick, buddy. Like
the fat guy with the fucking lightning who fucking did opera. Are you kidding me? Oh.
All right, Jeremy, you got back-to-backs.
Back to back. All right. Okay, we had this tape. I watched it 4 million times. Better Off Dead. Fucking love that
I've never seen
movie.
that
The
one.
fucking hamburger dances. Come on. I was sitting here. So my next pick, because I get 2, right?
Yep, back-to-backs.
My next pick, I was sitting here about 2 years ago, and I hadn't seen it forever. And I watched it, and at the end of it, I'm like in tears. Fucking, I was gonna say that. It's not that. What is it?
Describe
great.
the movie.
It's a John Hughes movie, goddammit.
16 Candles.
It's
Breakfast
not
Club.
Breakfast Club. It's
Breakfast
that.
Club.
Well, because I got 16 Candles in my head, and I couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I
John
got you.
Hughes is like, all his movies are basically a movie about Chicago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fucking Breakfast Club. So good.
Alrighty, Aaron.
Gremlins.
Oh, that was on my list.
Oh, smoking.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Exactly.
Give me an 80s genre, I'm fucking nailing it.
No, exactly. Like, there's so many perfect ones. All right, so I got my final 2 picks here. I just have to put Princess Bride on the list.
Yep. Is that 80s?
It is definitely an 80s movie. I don't know when it came out, but I think it did come out. In the 80s.
I don't know.
I
I actually think that is a timeless movie.
It was in 87, the year I was born.
Sure. You could have told me it was in 2000. Like,
Exactly.
so I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
I think Rodents of Unusual Size and all that, like the Swamp of Horrors, like it was playing on the Neverender Storing shit and like all the fantasy stuff that was out in that time period. I don't know, man. I think it counts.
Let me see how
I mean,
far.
I'm
Like
not
the
going to
whole
veto it. I'm just
storytelling,
expressing
the whole
displeasure.
Sure, that's fine. And then it's so weird. I want to put this on the list. I'm putting it on the list,
Dude,
but
it's
I just need to
87.
preface this.
It's 87?
The reason I looked it up. I told you.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason I'm hesitant to put this on the list because I don't want them to remake this movie. Dear God, please don't. But Howard the Duck.
Oh my god. That is very 80s. That chick fucked that duck almost.
So 80s, right? Like you could never ever make that movie again and have it work.
No. Nope.
You have like random rock starlet hanging out with an alien from outer space that looks like a 6-foot-tall duck. And you're like, yeah, this is fine. We're good with this. Write a script. Let's go. Like, what the fuck? All right, Aaron, final pick.
I mean, I'm not going to take... I have a deep cut that I want to pick that I will, but...
Do it.
Okay, I'll save my honorable mentions.
I still have 3 on the board I want to take.
Yeah, no. Romancing the Stone.
That's just a
Is that
solid
the
movie.
Tom Hanks?
No.
Say what?
Is that Tom Hanks or is it Goldblum?
It's Kirk Douglas? Michael
Okay, I'm thinking
Michael
of a different
Douglas.
movie. Michael Douglas. Okay. All right, Jeremy, final pick.
Dude, there's so many still on the board. I'm upset with
So
myself.
I know.
Oh god. Okay, I'm just gonna go with my gut here. Nightmare on Elm Street. Number one, that pulled Johnny Depp from playing in a regular movie into that for no apparent reason at all, just because he's hot. And, and it's fucking Nightmare on Elm Street.
I don't know if I agree with Nightmare on Elm Street being an 80s movie, but the slasher flick concept was definitely an 80s concept.
Everybody who had
so
sex
I
got
think
killed.
That's fair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not pushing back. It's just like, I view that as more of a horror movie, but obviously the whole concept of slasher flick is 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had to put one in there. One has to go.
yeah, sure.
And I don't like the Friday the 13th, but those could land right in there too.
That's fine. Yeah, I wanted to put The Thing on there, but again, there's already so many. All right, so honorable mentions. I still had Willow.
Oh no, nothing's more 80s than Willow, dude.
Man, Mardigan, help!
Oh my god.
I think they made a sequel to it recently, actually. We got Bill and Ted's, and also one of my all-time favorite movies, just because it's so campy, Clue.
Clue is
love
good,
Clue so much.
but it's not very 80s.
It's
almost
other than it's
universal,
just
though.
so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so like soupy. It's hard to
Yeah.
say it's an 80s movie though.
Rambo,
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian.
Ooh, is that 80s?
I
or is
will
that
give
even
you
earlier?
Conan.
80s.
I think it's actually late 70s, but
Nope, it's 80s.
just
Lethal Weapon. Fucking missed out on
No.
it
Lethal
is
Weapon.
82. The buddy cop is definitely 80s.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, specifically the buddy cop.
Oh, nothing's more 80s than Tango and Cash. That movie makes
yeah,
no sense.
Tango and Cash, so it's super 80s.
It makes no sense.
If you're only touching one wire and you're not touching the ground, you'll get electrocuted, right?
Oh, so many good. Labyrinth, but I already picked the other one.
Yeah, I thought Labyrinth was going to say. I haven't seen it all the way through, so I can't. And also, like Dark Crystal, I think there's a lot of them
Yeah.
that could have been picked.
Yeah.
Again,
good.
but there's so many. Like we went. What did we just do? We just did 18 movies, and we had more in the chamber ready. Like,
Oh, I haven't
Oh,
even
one
gone
that
through
you
my
could-
honorable mentions yet.
yeah, go,
Oh, go.
Well, you guys are fucking talking a mile a minute.
go.
Because we're excited.
So instead of
There you
Howard
go.
the Duck, I totally would have gone with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh,
fair.
Lord.
I-
That's very fucking
So I don't
80s.
see that. I just see that as a kids movie, not as an 80s movie. But I was a kid when it came out, so that might be why.
Mm.
E.T., quintessential 80s. If you
Yeah,
want to go
that's fair.
more like big, different genre.
Big.
Big
That is so inappropriate.
definitely-
That is certainly
You
in
think?
only 80s. Oh,
I mean, that kind
only
of defines the
80s could
80s.
create
Everything
that.
that's like completely inappropriate nowadays, like you
Yeah.
could not make Big or Goonies or Adventures in
Yeah.
Babysitting.
Weird Science.
They're all completely a product of their times.
Dude, Weird Science is like so
Science.
80s.
What's the movie? There's multiple movies where like kids kidnap their parents and lock them in the basement, but there's one. There's one where like they basically just go like what's like martial law basically, and they just like lock their parents up, and then they're just like they have like a frat house basically, but they're a bunch of like middle school students. It's crazy. I can't remember it.
Finally, the most quintessential 80s movie ever. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
I think that's universal. I don't think that's an 80s movie at all.
What?
That's just an adventure movie.
So I would.
There's no
Oh
good
my God.
titties.
Hold
no
on.
good
I actually
titties.
agree.
There's no cocaine.
I agree with Aaron here
Mm.
because it's so hokey and weird. Oh, versus the other two. The other two are just great adventure movies, but Temple of Doom is its own thing.
Yeah, it is objectively a bad racist movie.
Is it?
Yeah, you should watch it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
I haven't seen it in
Temple
a
of
bunch of
Doom
years,
is basically
yeah.
just Johnny Quest, but with like on meth.
Oh, Temple of Doom is insane. I would call Temple
Yeah.
of Doom an 80s movie for sure. That's apeshit
That's
crazy.
that's what we're talking about. That's literally the question. You said no.
Oh, I didn't know you said Temple of Doom. I thought.
Yes,
said
no,
Temple-
specifically
Yeah,
Temple of Doom.
okay.
Yes.
I see the
Ooh,
disconnect.
I got you. I just didn't hear that.
Yeah, I can't be expected to listen to half the words Aaron says.
Die Hard. First
oh.
Die Hard's really 80s.
Die Hard, yeah. But again, I see that more as an action movie.
Oh, you want to
And-
know what's Cobra? 80s. That's only 80s.
Cobra's
dude.
pretty.
It's fucking stupid as fuck, and there's no
It's
reason it
definitely
should have
like-
been made.
It's definitely one of the more 80s style ones, but I see like Tango and Cash transitions into the buddy cop area
Uh-huh.
for me. So I think it's okay to be an 80s movie, not an action movie. But oh man, see these are
Dirty
the fun
Dancing?
conversations I
That
like
couldn't be
having.
made now. Like, I knocked my friend up. I need to have a doctor with abortions. You're like, what? Are you serious?
Is that the plot of the movie? I thought.
Oh,
they
there's a
just
whole,
dance.
like- Oh, no. No. There's like a friend who needs a doctor friend to give an abortion. Like, it's
Okay.
completely fucked up. Like, they would
Okay.
never make that.
Oh boy! All right, that was fun. I like that. That was good.
All we gotta do is go back to the 80s, and we're fine. Everything's good. I
All
just
right.
like the 80s are always about if you're rich and powerful, you had cocaine. Like
Oh.
that's all 80s. Like the script for the 80s was if you had cocaine, you were rich and powerful.
Yeah. Even if you just had a cocaine habit, you were rich and powerful. Like, it doesn't have to be, as long as you physically possess cocaine.
Mm-hmm. Rich and powerful. Done.
You know, a movie also we could have named that Nigel's probably mad we didn't is Over the Top.
Oh my god, I saw that so
that's
many
an
times.
80s movie. Absentee father wins his child back by winning arm wrestling competition. What? What the fuck did you say?
I think that's the best cover read ever.
Yeah. The one I thought Jeremy was going to name was Home Alone. Home Alone's a great 80s movie.
It is. It's
Yeah,
a good one.
yeah.
But people view it more as a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that one
And
is.
so
yeah.
No, that
One
falls
of
in
the
line
fun-
with the completely preposterous plot line. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Also, it's just super not okay. Like, two burglars trying to, appearing to be break in and murder a child for basically no gain. Like,
It's
like,
fine.
Yeah. He literally commits attempted murder like 18 times in the movie.
You know, the
But
slapstick
he
criminal.
stubs his toe.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, right. Like, but it's 80s, so it's cool.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, the conversations, the things I like most about this is when you get into the nitty gritty of like, okay, is Alien a horror movie or a sci-fi movie? Or is it an 80s movie? Like, where in there is it like,
It's not 80s.
yeah, the Venn diagrams
I
overlap.
thought about Alien, which actually came out in
I'd say Aliens
79?
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
I think the sequel 100% counts, but I don't think Alien does. It's just a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
That's why
it's
I
actually a horror
eliminated
movie.
it.
It's a haunted house in space.
Right. And so that's the argument, is like, is it a sci-fi or is it a horror? And so I think that like the thing you think of most should be what it counts as. But
Like one is sci-fi, and everything after that is action.
mm-hmm. Well, I think the third Alien movie is it's really more of a horror film as well.
Mm.
Because the whole movie is they're afraid of the alien, not like they're trying to fight it.
I don't want to get into it,
But again,
but I'll disagree.
yeah. That's fine, and that's the point of discussion. That's why it's interesting.
Oh.
Because it's also part of it is like why you like the movie is what's going to determine your mindset on it. Like,
So-
do you like it because it's scary, or do you like it because of the sci-fi aspects?
I think there are horror elements to a significant number of the Alien franchise movies, but I hate, loathe, and detest horror. I won't watch horror, period. I like the Alien franchise. So either something's weird in my head, or it's mostly action with a tinge of horror, which is what I think it is.
Well, I think the real problem is that the horror franchise has so many bad, like the vast majority is just actively terrible movies that try to get you with like jump scare horror, which isn't actually scary. It's startling. It's not the same thing. And
Well, then
so
what's horror?
Right, so like good horror movies, I would say would be more along the lines of Alien. You could even make an argument for Jaws, but I think a good example was it the what's the name of that fucking movie? It came out in the early 2000s. The Haunting of Hill House, I think. It was a Stephen King book. It's just a haunted house, basically, but like weird shit keeps happening. Anyway, it's because there's subgenres in horror, and I think the slasher film and the jump scare horror movie that are usually ghosts I think all of that is just garbage. It's not interesting. The whole point is to get a cheap emotional response out of you for a brief moment. But the actual like intellectual horror movies, I think, are somewhat entertaining, but usually not.
The last horror movie that fucked me up, because I actually enjoy horror. I like special effects and like scary shit. Event Horizon fucked me up. Like that whole concept of like falling through a black hole. Okay, so black holes exist, and something could happen, and a ship pops out the other side, and they're going to go poke around and see what's going on. It was completely insane. That was so good. I was shocked how good that was.
Yeah, I think The Thing is
that's
the
such a
perfect
good
horror
one.
movie.
Yeah,
because it's the thing that is terrifying in its own right, but the thing that's actually scary is not knowing who could be it. Right, like that it could become other people. Like that's the scary part, and so it's like you can't trust anyone. Like you're constantly trying to figure stuff out.
I'm probably done at 11 for timing, FYI.
What are you trying to say? All right, let's get to it. Although we don't have much to talk about.